Take it easy and solve the school lunch problem with SPAM. S-P-A-M.
こんにちは、タイガークローラジオ。You are listening now. Back J.
You are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Number one in vintage computer and video game entertainment. And now your host, Critical Failure.
That's right. Tiger Claw Radio is back, everybody. I hope you're having a happy new year. And I hope you had a great Christmas. Got some good stuff to go over this week. I've got quite the rant that I picked up off of YouTube. I think we'll start with that. I've got some good van casting, got some little of this, little of that. So hang with us. Got some real good stuff here on Tiger Claw Radio. Let's start with another oldie from Spamtron's Never Say Die from way back in 2009. This track is called Chrono Tripper. I got. I was looking at Let's Plays of Daggerfall, and I came across. I was watching some subpar Let's Plays. I'll put it that way. I just wanted to see some people play it past the first 30 minutes. And this one gentleman had a negative comment in his comments section regarding his voice. Guy didn't like his voice, thought it was annoying. So the guy who owned the channel, who put the video up, wrote some sort of dismissive response. And then the commenter replied with a Vocaroo URL. And I downloaded it, and we're going to listen to it right now because this thing is solid gold.
You know, I mean, you responded pretty fast, so maybe you can clear something up for me because I watch a lot of Let's Plays. And I'm confused about this, like, 1950s radio voice with this fake inflection, like, "Hey guys, how you doing? It's So Big Bear 22. This is part 4 of our Elder Scrolls playthrough. Hey." I don't understand the point of that. Where did you hear? I'm asking Jen. Your videos are fine. I'll watch your videos, but the voice it's like grating. It's just, I mean, if you're like, I just want people to talk on YouTube like they didn't read about inflection and stuff in an old book about how to be on the radio, like real people talk. If you went up to a chick in a bar and you went, "Hey, can I buy you a drink? That's pretty good. I like this band," you might get somewhere with her. But if you went up to her and went, "Hey, how you doing? Can I buy you a drink?" she'd throw the drink in your face and go, "Ah!" and run out in the parking lot. So let's listen and see if I'm being overly hard on you. Let's see.
Internet, once again, my name is Jason, and today we're back with some more Elder Scrolls 2.
I'm going to restart it and turn it up a little.
Unfortunately,
I need to hear the very beginning. I'm drinking and I can't operate this computer right now, but it'll... Hold on.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my corner of the internet. Once again, my name is Jason, and
hey, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Let's skip ahead to like part 5 and see if you do this. Sweet music.
Right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my corner of the internet. Once again, my name is Jason, and today we're playing some more Elder Scrolls 2.
See, if I was gonna do Let's Plays, I would never do it. By the way, I don't give it. That's not gonna happen. But I'd go, "Hey, this is Bob Johnson, and we're playing Daggerfall," and then I just play the game. And then if something weird happened, you'd go, "Well, that's weird. What's that all about?" But unless you have a shining personality and you are an incredibly interesting human being that can just sit and talk, most Let's Plays should be silent. I mean, you're not, unless you're Jesse Cox. Like, I don't like that guy, but you listen to him talk and he's funny. He's like, you sit there, you can, his commentary is more entertaining than the game. Most people just want to see the game. But instead, I don't understand it. I really don't. And you might not listen to this. That's fine. But every time I open a Let's Play, I have to go through 9 of them where the guy goes, "Hey, how you doing? This is..." And then he's playing and making little jokes and yapping and just play the game normal. I mean, when you're sitting in your house alone and you're playing Elder Scrolls, you're not going, "Hey, I wonder what the deal is with this guy here. Hey, let's say he looks like a crazy guy, a wild guy." I have to drink a lot of beer in order to tolerate that. It's just not going to happen.
I can't imagine finding something like that in a comment section to one of my videos. What a gem. All right. I'm not sure if I can follow that up with anything that I've got locked and loaded, so let's take a trip to the Vancast. Back in the van early in the week with the full knowledge that the 3-day weekend is on the way. Here is a very hopeful CF driving to work. Oh boy. Good morning, everybody. This is being recorded the day after Christmas. December 26th. It's what, Tuesday morning? I'm pulling out on my way to work. What a nice Christmas it was this year. Got the family together early in the morning. We opened presents. Grandma and Grandpa were there. Cousins there. kids had a great time. It was fun. It was good. I felt like we were able to get it together and just enjoy it. There wasn't a ton of anxiety. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody felt shortchanged this year, which is great. I would say that's an accomplishment when it comes to Christmas. And now I'm going to work to do the shift right after Christmas, so hopefully this should be a nice, easy day. But you never know. I'm going into work, got to be prepared for everything. That's the game. So I got a few cool items, and then Steam's winter sale is in full swing. I know it's kind of like a meme at this point to say that the big sale that's going on Steam is not as good as it used to be, but that's really the case. I remember looking at my big long wish list on the summer sales and the winter sales. The vast majority of the items being on sale for like 60% plus. Now, I got 130 items on my wish list. 2 of them are 75% off. Everything else is like much, much lower than that. So the games just don't go for sale as much as they used to. Still getting some good items. Most notably, and the game I'm getting at with this conversation is Raiden 5 I picked up. I picked it up like in the thick of the family being around and hanging out, so I wasn't able to play it until this morning. I had it all installed and ready to go. This morning I sat down and I finally got to fire it up. I got to play for about 20 minutes. Which is cool, man. I'm digging it. One thing I'll say is that it does not replace Raiden 4. Okay? If you match the previous 2 games, Raiden 3 and 4, those were the previous 2 most current games. They were pretty similar, and Raiden 4, for the most part, you could just get Part 4 and be fine. 3 and 4 had very similar experiences. But you move into 5, the newest one, and it's really different, which is cool. I mean, it's cool for me because I've got all of them now, so I'm ready for a new experience. They cost a lot. The latest game on sale is $20 and change. So getting a new experience, I think, is just what the doctor ordered in this case. Now I only get to play for like 20 minutes, so I can't say too much. You know, I got to put some more time into it before I can give you a deep analysis of Raiden 5. But a couple things I can tell you. Playing with the default options without going in and monkeying with the difficulty, it feels a heck of a lot easier. At least easier than Raiden 3. We had a high score face-off between Dumaze, Alex Swingle, and myself in Raiden 3, in which I'm pretty sure we crowned Alex Swingle the king of that fight. Hang on a second. I don't know. This new game, I feel like if we did a battle like that in this new game, we'd have to crank the difficulty up. Because one of the great things was you could play an entire game of Raiden 3, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes. It was less for me because I wasn't as good at it. Swingle made it to the 4th stage, I think, pretty regularly. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I almost went to the wrong place. Give me a second to drive here. Yeah, we're good now. So, I can't remember exactly where I left off. What was I saying? Something about Raiden. Oh well. Raiden 5 is good. That's the end of that story. We got a major update to Friday the 13th. There's offline play, and there's a cabin. I talked about this last week, I'm sure. But that was there was a little update here and there while I owned the game, but that's like the first major bombshell for that game since I got it. So still loving Friday the 13th. That has been an enduring game in my collection. I also played some H1Z1, which also got a couple of updates since I really stopped playing it. And I enjoyed that as well. A couple of notable things. Number one, now you can go to the Steam Marketplace and you can buy the skins directly from the marketplace. So you can eliminate the loot crate option entirely. Which is, for this game, absolutely the way to go. Because there's no really prestigious high dollar item. There's no knife like there is in CSGO. So you can pay $2.50 for it to open a crate, or you can get any one of the crate's contents for like a quarter. I don't know how long that's going to last, because it really shows off how lopsided the economy is for their cosmetic items. But that was cool. I was able to get a number of things for like $1.50. I got my guy tricked out, and I had this moment where I was editing my layout, right, changing my guns around and the stuff my character wears, and I had this weird moment where it felt like I was playing with paper dolls, like a little girl from the 1930s. It's like, this is weird. It's a weird thing I'm engaged in right now. But that's H1Z1. There was also some balancing things that I noticed. One thing that struck me about H1Z1 when I first started playing it was that there was a large array of pistols. There was 3, which was a lot, considering you have to go find them, right? There was a revolver, there was like a 9mm, and then there's like a little gun that looked a lot like the 9mm, but wasn't quite the same thing. I had a hard time telling them apart, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get some skins for it. Like, I got a bright blue skin for the little one, and then the 9mm was black. That way I could tell them apart. If I picked one up, it would apply the skin that I got, and then it made sense to me. Using pictures, as opposed to just saying, oh, well, this is the, this number, this one's has some other serial number for a name, whatever. The littler of the 2 pistols was eliminated completely, so I think that creates a much more comprehensive layout in terms of the guns. We now have just a revolver, which is clearly, this is a 6-shooter, like the Cowboys used to have, and this one's like a Beretta. So you can look at them at the silhouette, and clearly they're not like each other, which is okay. I think they did all right. And since they eliminated a gun that I had skins for, they took the skins and applied it to the 9mm. So I didn't lose the skins, which is, I feel like they did a good job with that, rolling out that patch. So I played that a few times. I probably would have played H1Z1 more if I had more time. But this was like, I probably had about 45 minutes in the middle of the day yesterday when the kids were watching shows and the grown-ups were just sitting around kind of doing their own thing, and I was able to sneak off and play some games for a little while, just catch a breather. Still a good game, man. I got to, and I'm still doing terrible at it too, by the way. I'm 30 plus hours into H1Z1. Not a lot for those players, but a lot for me. 30 plus hours in, I rarely get kills. The last game I played, I made it to 7th place, which is, for me, just way up there. 7th place, 0 kills, and I got taken out hard. There was there was one moment where I started a new game, and I ran into a house after I landed. I went to loot the place, and there were 0 weapons in the house. 0. And then I heard people running around. It's like, oh crap. So I ran into like the kitchen area with a cabinet on one side and then like a counter on the other, and I went into prone position. I lied down. It's like, man, maybe they won't notice me. And I just like waited, and I didn't move the reticle around because I didn't want my character to move. I just hoped they didn't notice. And a guy comes out, runs up to the front door, and he's like right in front of me now. He's probably like 10, 15 feet in front of me in the game. And he doesn't notice me right away. There's like a moment of silence where he looks at the front door and doesn't see that there's somebody lying to the right. Then he looks to the right, guns me down. And once I'm dead, but before I've left the match, the player is like, dude, what are you doing? You can't just sit there and not move. Like, I was hoping you wouldn't notice me. It's kind of a funny moment amongst H1Z1 players, which is one of the reasons why I like that game because I'm told PUBG doesn't have those moments. PUBG doesn't have that sort of open communication, open proximity communication. Whatever. Those are those battle royale games. You know, there's so much alike. You really just hitch your wagon to whatever kind of looks good, and then and you can't go wrong there. Hang on a second. Drive time. I've never played the free one. I would like to try that one of these days. I can't even think of the name of it now. Fortnite. Battle Royale Fortnite. And one of the things I really like about that game is just how much it irritated the PUBG developer when it came out. Your game looks a lot like my game, so you can't make it, man. Oh boy, the butthurt is delicious. Oh, it's delicious. This is the way video games are. This is the way they are. If there's something successful, there's going to be something that looks a lot like it coming just behind. You know, that goes all the way back to, the earliest examples that I witnessed was when Doom was storming the world. You know, we had Doom clones come right after it. But it goes back further than that, you know. Start collecting games on the Atari 2600. It's not going to be long before you find Space Invaders clones. You know, there was a lot of those. So, it's funny listening to the PUBG creator say dumb stuff, because I think he's doing dumb things. Like he won't region lock the servers. There's a big thing about that game being super popular in China, which is great. Except that those players, when you pair them up against Western players, they have 800 plus ping. So it causes technical issues. And the guy's just like, no, if you don't like that, then you're a racist. Oh, all right, man. Oh well. I guess that's just, I'm not putting my game on sale on the sales. Well, all right. I guess I'll just play, H1Z1 then. If I want to play another game, I guess I'll just play Fortnite. Oh man, I grew to hate that guy very, very quickly. Very quickly. So that was that. That's computer games. I've got a couple of other things in the sales, but I don't think much I can really talk about. I got a Trackmania game, Trackmania 2 Lagoon, but I haven't run it yet. And even if I do, it's just going to be more Trackmania. More racing cars around. There's not really a whole lot I can say about that you haven't heard of a million times or would be interested in. I got the Realms of Arcania games on Steam, which is pretty sweet. That's in a collection I'm building called the Old Monitor Collection. I got a little 3:4 aspect ratio monitor that I keep as like a side monitor on my desk, and I manage these games so that I can make that my active monitor. And I have specific games that look better on this 3:4 aspect ratio monitor. Also, I have a computer that's very old. I got a 2007 eMachines computer that still connects to my Steam account. So I have a special collection. That's like the collection of games that will run on the very old computer. That's something I like about just PC gaming in general. Is people are like, well, I got this computer, but I can't really play games on it. Really? You can't play games on it? You can't play any game on your computer? Well, yeah, it's an old ThinkPad, whatever. It's got, Windows. Listen, if you got anything above Windows 98, you can play games. That's it. That's the end of the story. You can play some kind of game. Now, granted, there's probably an awful lot you can't do, but hey, man, I'm still playing Daggerfall on my laptop. You could play Daggerfall on just about anything, right? So yeah, that's a little sidebar there. I always find it funny when people say that. I got this computer, but I can't really play games on it. What? You can't play any games? No games. Let me get this straight. 0 games will play on your computer. So, like, you don't have access to DOSBox or I don't know, anything like that? Emulation won't work? Nothing? Can't play games. Can't play games on my computer. Really? Then you got to do some research, pal. I don't know. That's something I've heard for quite a while. It's like, I can't play games. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Just figure it out. And so here we are, 6:39 in the morning, driving to work, tired. I had a great Christmas, but I want to be home, playing with my children, hanging out with my wife, playing with my toys. My wife got me a mandolin. It's the best. Oh man, I love it. She got me a Fender mandolin, which is a beautiful, beautiful instrument. I've been a guitar player my whole life. And last year for my birthday, she got me a bass guitar. So I've been playing this bass for like every morning for like a year. The thing about the mandolin is it's tuned a little differently. See if I can explain this to people who don't care about instruments. No, we'll just leave it at that. It's tuned a little differently. Every 7th fret is what you match against the tune the next string. So if you hold down the 7th fret and play the string, it should sound like the next string. That's how you tune it to each other. Relative, tuning. Whereas on a guitar, it's the 5th fret for every string except like the 4th, and there's this weird exception. Whatever. It's just it's different. I had to print out a chord chart and take a look at how chords were formed on it because it's not the same. But man, it sounds great. It really does. So I had my mandolin going, and I have a neck brace for a harmonica, which honestly, to be fair, has not gotten a lot of use. So yeah, I was hanging out with my family and playing my mandolin and just having a good old Christmas, man. Big old glass of eggnog. My wife makes really good cookies. She spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks making cookies. She had some. She bought a package of Hugs. Those Hershey's Kisses that have like a white chocolate, regular chocolate mix. This is something she does every year. She buys a big package of Hugs. She takes all the wrappers off of all the candies. Then she makes this sugar cookie dough, and then encases the Hugs in sugar cookie dough, and then bakes them that way. The sugar cookie dough, then she first like mixes with like a food coloring to make it like green swirl. So she has these Christmas cookies that have Hershey's Hugs inside of them. They're always a big hit. So yeah, it was really great, man. Hang on a second. So this week I have to work, but it should be pretty chilled out. Just going to work and doing my job, hanging out with the family while my son has off from school. Then we got New Year's, right? And then at the end of the first week of January is MagFest, right? So MagFest, just to recap, had some technical issues this year with ticket sales. Technical issues and also logistical issues. They in previous years, they would sell tickets in like August or something. And if you got them right out of the gate, they were cheaper. And then as time went on, the price would increase closer to the event. This year, they decided to change that policy and turn it to the number of ticket sales. After a certain number of tickets were sold, the price would increase. And they were planning for that lower price tier to last several weeks. Unfortunately, it only lasted about 3 hours, which poses two problems. Number one, it means that their policy does not allow for... I was there. I got on to buy a ticket as soon as I got home from work that day, and they were already sold out. So it doesn't allow for anybody who's on it to get one. Number two, it means the venue is too small. That's the bigger one. The Gaylord Hotel, which is Gaylord, which is where the event is being held. The Gaylord seats or will house 2,000 guests. 2,000 guests who get rooms. They sold 9,000 passes. To be fair, there's a few places you can get rooms in the National Harbor, apart from the Gaylord. But it wasn't long before all those rooms were gone. So, long story short, MagFest is outgrowing this venue. And the reason I can go to MagFest every year is because it's so close. So, I worry that this might be the very last MagFest for me. The very last one. Number one, it was hella expensive. It was very expensive. I used to pay $40 for a 4-day pass at MagFest. This one was like $70. There's that. And, you know, and then once you get down there, then parking is a ton. So you're looking at $100+ before you get any room, before you step foot on the showroom floor where items are being sold, before any of that. Just to get there, $100+. And this is MagFest. This is not PAX East. This is not E3. This is MagFest. Some chip tunes, an arcade, some people selling stuff they got at AliExpress for 5 times the price. That's it. That's the whole event. Pretty modest, I gotta say. It's great. I'm not saying it's a crappy event. It's great. They got some good music. They got some good people. I just don't think. I mean, I think it's kind of becoming inflated, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know. They got to do more. If there's going to be this kinds of problems where there's so many people coming that ticket sales become difficult, getting room becomes difficult, they've got to bring something more to the table. Because I remember last year looking at like the event portions. I don't know how else to say it. Trying to looking at the panels, looking at what kind of stuff they had going on, and it just I don't know. They didn't really bring the business last year. I'm not saying they never do, because they have before in the past. I mean, JonTron was there one year post what is it now? Post Game Grumps, but before, you know, his quote unquote debate where everyone started to hate him. He was there one year. That was pretty huge. Al Lowe, who created Leisure Suit Larry, he was there one year. That was pretty huge. I've seen Ego Raptor, Aaron, whatever that guy's name is. I've seen him there signing stuff in the past. The very first year I went, I saw Derek Alexander once. I showed up at like 2 in the morning and he was in the arcade playing X-Men. So I got to meet him. That was pretty awesome. But last year I went and there wasn't any of that. There wasn't any person like who was doing a panel that I really cared to see. I think James Rolfe still goes, but I don't know. Something about James, I never really went in to see one of his panels, because he's been doing them every year for a long time. So if you go to see a panel with James Rolfe now, right, at this point he's done like 10 of them. I was like, what are you gonna tell me, man? You can tell me about your movie? You can tell me about your, I don't know. Maybe I should go see that this year if he's still doing them. We'll see. All right, that's MagFest. It's always surrounded by skepticism, and I'm never sure about it. But when I get there and dig in, I'm always having a good time. I've always got plenty to complain about by the time I leave. But whenever I go, it's always like, this was fun. I'm glad I went. So I won't complain too loudly or too hard. All right, give me a second here. I set up my phone, so I have to put in a passcode in order to open it up. But that means I have to put in a passcode before I can stop recording. All right, there we go. I'll see you guys back at the studio. My apologies to the patrons. Once MagFest is over, I'm going to return to trying to operate this, getting the thing posted a few days early. Right now, I'm just doing what I can to make sure these things come out. So again, this is my reminder that this is a Patreon funded podcast. So thanks so much to these gentlemen. They are Hemrock, James, Sendu, Tecmo Balls, Durabka, 6L the Fury, and the Cartridge Brothers. Thank you guys so much for chipping in and help keeping this thing rolling. All right, boys and girls, let's go back to the Vancast one more time for a second helping.
Oh boy, it's freezing. It is freezing. It's Thursday morning. Hello everyone. You're listening to the Vancast. Oh, I'm barely hanging on. Alright, give me a second here to pull out of my driveway. Start heading towards work. We can talk about some video games. Oh, it's cold. It's freezing cold. seats are cold. The steering wheel is freezing. I don't even like touching the steering wheel. And off we go. This is how we start our day here at 6:16 a.m. Oh. The Steam summer sale is coming to a close in a couple of days. I think we got a few days. I think it ends on the 2nd, January 2nd or 3rd or something. Sometime after New Year's. So I have until then to buy whatever it is I want to buy. So I'm carefully picking up my last Steam purchases. I've halted ordering new physical games because I want MagFest to come and go first. I just want to check out the floor check out the vendors over at MagFest, see what they have to offer. I know that I look at my acquisitions from previous years, and MagFest is not a place where you're going to get a ton of awesome video games. I mean, I usually get a little something every year, and that's usually good. But I don't think I've ever had a year where I went to MagFest and was like, look at all these awesome games I found. I mean, these are game vendors. They're not, you know what I mean? These are not the let's make a deal. These are not the I'll give you a cut rate price people. You can find oddities at MagFest. That's a cool thing. I mean, before I was buying from AliExpress, MagFest was where the reproduction cart dealers would show up. So it was the first place I ever saw repros in real life. That and I like looking at the peripherals for old consoles because it's nice to see them and touch them rather than just looking at them on an eBay page. Consequently, I mean, this is something I've talked about before, but in many years past, I've gotten some kind of arcade stick. I got my big time Kanba Q1 arcade stick for the PC, my favorite, my beast. I got at MagFest. Another year, I got my Wii arcade stick, which I love. I think last year I got my PS1 arcade stick, which I don't think I used even once, but I have an arcade stick for the PS1. And then way back, I got the Sega Genesis arcade stick. All these things I got from MagFest. I think some of them were even cut rate prices because arcade sticks cost a lot to ship. I got I know my PS1 stick I got for $10, and you can order that thing online, but you're gonna pay. I mean, it's gonna end up being $30 minimum. That's a pretty good deal. Same thing with my Genesis arcade stick. That was $16. That's another one. I mean, you can find it online. It's not super expensive, but it's going to be about $30 plus when all is said and done with shipping and whatnot. So, one year I was at a vendor's table and they had a copy of Dead or Alive 2 Arcade Edition for the PS2. The purple disc game, DOA 2 Hardcore. It had the black cover with no picture on it. Which, looking back now for the first time, I'm wondering why we had a DOA game with no picture at all on the cover. Like, near the PS2 launch, there was no artwork whatsoever on that cover. Who let that happen? To my knowledge, I'd have to go back and look at my video game collection, but I can only ever think of one game ever that just had zero box art and pulled it off. And that was Metal Gear Solid for the original PS1. The first modern Metal Gear game. That was just, we had a white backdrop and the words Metal Gear Solid were written in the red lettering. We had like the Metal Gear emblem. Hang on a second. See if we can make it warmer in this car. And that was it. That was what you got. That was Metal Gear. It was simple, but it worked. So somebody was selling that for $10 and I walked away from it. And I think looking back price-wise, I did the right thing because I can order that from eBay now for like, I don't know, $7. So I guess technically I saved $3. But this was also like 3 or 4 years ago or something. So if I had paid the extra $3, that was the game that I would have had in my collection for the past 3 or 4 years. So I don't know. I a lot of times I think back on that when I'm playing the DOA games, and it's like, man, I should have just paid the money. Then I would have had the game. Oh well. What are you gonna do? I will go. I'll look at the vendors. I looked at the guest list yesterday, and I was going through who's going to be there and what's going down. And I gotta say, not really a whole lot for me at MagFest. A lot of the panicles. Wow. A lot of the panicles. Whew. I think I'm having a stroke. All right. Let's try that again. A lot of the panels and events are very politically minded. And nothing to me that says entertainment. So, not interested in a single one of those. Dr. Zillog is going to be there, which I'm excited about. Dr. Zillog was a chip music artist from the 8-Bit Collective days, and he released an album called Endless Hallway that I've played here on the show years ago. Endless Hallway was a heavy metal chip music fusion, which I think he did very well. Heavy speed metal done completely in chip, with chip instruments. So a very unique sound, which I think is difficult to do when it comes to chip tunes. So if you have 12 different chip music artists, and I know there's a lot more than that, but let's just say 12, and they're all using either LSDJ or FamiTracker, then it becomes very hard to set yourself apart. And here's a guy who did it just by making, just not by adding extra instruments over top of LSDJ or FamiTracker, but just by his style, just by doing something no one else was doing or had done at that time. It was a good album, had some good tracks on it. I still have my zip file I downloaded from the original 8-Bit Collective announcement post he made. I got that. I'm looking forward to seeing that guy live. That's one guy, one chip artist, who's going to be there Thursday night. Dr. Zillog comes on at like 6:30 p.m. on Thursday. So that means assuming I make it to his performance, then there you go. Then I've done all the events I'm interested in for the rest of the con. I seem to remember there being one more that I would consider going to, but Dr. Zillog was the big one. Kirby's Dream Band is playing at some point, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be like in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., some sort of crap like that. So I will not be seeing them. However, the fact that they're present at the convention gives me hope that maybe I can buy their record. They released that pink Kirby record last year that I missed out on because I wasn't quite collecting records at that point. That's another thing. Last year was a first for me because I got a bunch of really good vinyl in MagFest last year. Proto Man had 2 releases, and I got something from I can't even think of the name now. I want to say 8-Bit Weapon, but that's not it. The Mega Man 2 heavy metal album. Got some good vinyls. The artists make their limited edition vinyl releases. They come to MagFest and the other conventions as well, and they sell them in person. And then after the convention, if you missed out or if you want to buy one, you get online, and because they're out of print, the only way to get them is through eBay, where they're super expensive. That Mega Man 2 heavy metal album I bought it for $20, which seems like a lot for a vinyl record. If you get online, try and get one off of eBay, they're like 80 plus. Not because I think it's an $80+ album, but just because there was such a limited release. Making vinyl records is expensive, man. It really is. So, what are you going to do? I like them. I dig them. It's something I wished I had been into earlier, longer. And that's part of the reason I really dig it when Retro Kaiser makes his features that are related to vinyl records. Something he's got that none of us have. So that's some cool stuff. That's something I'm looking forward to, seeing if I can get any vinyl. It would be nice to get a 45. I don't know why. I didn't get any 45s last year. I got 2 LPs and a 10-inch. Which is to date the Proto Man single for their new album is to date the only 10-inch record that I have. But I didn't get any 45s. Oh, excuse me. Alright, let's see. Give me a second here. I'm about to do some driving. So yeah, that's coming up. I'm going with my buddy Angie, and we play the fighting games. So I really feel like I should be brushing up on my fighting game skills prior to this, but you know, what are you gonna do? Anthony Birch is gonna be there, which I think is kind of hilarious. I got my picture taken with Bob Chipman, Movie Bob, there one year. So I kind of want to get my picture taken with Anthony Birch. Just as a meme. I don't know. So, you know, what are you going to do? So that's MagFest. More expensive than ever. Fewer events than ever. And that's MagFest. I started looking around on the internet for other local events. There's got to be a smaller local event that's not going to be as expensive or politically charged as MagFest will. So like I'm afraid to talk to people at MagFest that I don't know, because I don't want to get thrown out, or not just thrown out, but barred permanently from ever attending MagFest, which is what I read in the on their website. It's like, if someone feels like they're being harassed, regardless of whether it breaks the law or not, we can eject you from the event and bar you from coming to all future events. So yeah, so there's like some serious blacklisting going on, or at least they're threatening some serious blacklisting. And I don't know what I would possibly get in trouble with, to that extent. I have no idea, but it makes me worry. It makes me feel like I gotta keep that on my mind. I can't be a troublemaker at the MagFest. So, you know, it's a shame that to go to a festival and have to keep that kind of stuff in the back of your head, you know. But I don't know. What are you gonna do? They have to do what they have to do to stay alive in the current climate in video games. So I suppose in that sense I can't really blame them. You know, I read an article recently. They're trying to push this thing where the medical community is creating they're creating a disorder label for video games, like video game addiction disorder or something. I didn't read the details because I kind of thought that this was gonna blow over, like some hokey thing that somebody wrote, and maybe the press would run with it, but then it would blow over. I don't know. Very sad. Very sad. Alright. This is like my one chance to get out of this. I'm at a stoplight. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to the ever so comfortable Panzer Studios. I will see you guys there.
All right, back again in the studio. So here's the part where questions, comments, anything like that. I read that stuff and we kind of get to interact a little bit. First thing I want to do is play an audio comment from Balzac. Now, a lot of times, I say a lot of times, but the last time he did one of these, I listened to it beforehand, so I kind of got an idea of what he was talking about. Then we did it on the show. This time I haven't done that, just because I haven't really had time to keep things together. So, I'm excited to hear what you have to say, man. Let's give it a listen.
Okay, how do I start this? Well, first of all, I want to know, where's my Monstercast CF? I'm looking for, or Monstercast 2, where is it? I'm looking forward to it, and it's already almost the end of the year, and It's not, no, it's okay. Take your time with it. I imagine just busy, so I'm okay. I'm looking forward to it still, especially hope it lives up to the reputation of the first one. Anyways, it's December 23rd, so you know what it is. It's the end of the year, which means I have 3 questions to throw at you. What's your game of the year? Game of the year of a game that didn't come out this year that you played for the first time this year, and biggest blunder / regret of related to gaming. I'll answer these 3 really quick. Game of the year for me, Yakuza 0. That was pretty good. I liked it. It was just good. If you have a PS4, you can get it on the cheap. I would recommend it, really. What was it? Game of the year of a game that came out anytime that I played it for the first time this year. Skies of Arcadia. It's a 3D. Oh, what was that? Okay, it's a 3D, RPG, Sega RPG. So that's kind of rare. A 3D Sega RPG that's a turn-based and not like, tactical or real time. So that was nice to try since I never really played that many Sega games ever. So it was nice to try this one out. And only 15 hours in, and it's okay so far. So I'll probably look forward to playing more of that next year, hopefully. And biggest blunder, yeah, the Switch. I already went into this so many times, but had it for a month, got rid of it. Not really my kind of thing. Just was not for me. Anyways, since it's the end of the year, I know you probably don't have anything, but I'll just throw this out anyways. Game you're looking forward to coming next year in 2018. Me, it's let's just get Shenmue 3 out of the way, and there's this one called 428 Shibuya Scramble. It's a murder mystery visual novel that's coming out for the PS4 the first time in English, and I can't wait to look forward to that. That one will look okay. So hopefully, yeah, that's about it for me for the end of the year. Hopefully we'll have a good year again next year in 2018. So looking forward to more of your content, and hopefully your collection grows, and mine does too next year, moving on forward. So that's about it. Signing out.
Balzac, buddy. Awesome to hear from you, man. You got some good questions there. Let's start at the beginning with the Monster Cast. I've got some footage. I've got a good bit from Jerry, the Terrifying. I've got a good bit from Hemrock that he even edited for me. But that's it. It's just those 2. The Monster Cast could come out tomorrow, but it would only probably be about 3 hours long. I will do a bit when I come back from... I'm going to do a bit for the Monster Cast while I'm at MagFest, and then hopefully I'll get something the following weekend recorded, some sort of interview. There's a couple of more people that must be on Monster Cast 2, and I haven't reached out yet. I opted for, I seriously considered doing the mashup and then, adding a music segment and a little this, a little that, and just doing what I could to make sure it got out. But it's been so many years since the first one, I opted to just take my time, get the things in it that I really want to get in it, and then, I don't know, see what I can do after that. Especially since I'm getting a podcast out every week, and when Monster Cast 1 came out, I don't think I was. You'd have to double check me on that, but that was when Gooch and the Douchebag was still in full swing, and there was no release day. It was just there was no release day, and there were no backers involved. So I was just okay, whenever I feel like making one, I'll make one. So you'd see a couple come out a couple weeks at a time, and then there'd be a break, and then one would come out, and then there'd be a break, that sort of thing. So that was how I was able to finish the first Monster Cast. So sorry I don't have a better answer for you than that, but still working on it. Let's talk about Game of the Year. Let me just say, I'm glad you didn't say Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey, because this has been the year of the Nintendo. The year of looking at Nintendo and thinking, wow, maybe I'm starting to get too old for video games. I don't understand how people are getting... the best thing I've seen about the Nintendo Switch is there is a video of somebody who played their accordion and played a song from Super Mario Odyssey on their accordion. There's not even any video. It's just a still image, audio only. And that video, to me, I'm more interested in than any actual game available for the Switch. So, I agree with your sentiments on the Switch. My game of the year, I know it's going to trigger some people within this group, but it's got to be Friday the 13th. I saw it. I really wanted it when it came out. I was apprehensive about getting it. Thankfully, it went on sale enough I was able to pick it up. got it. I've just been rocking it to death. I love it. It's as much as I know that there was some stories surrounding the devs that they had some diva-ish behavior. I don't care about any of that. It's been a great game. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I'm still playing it. So Friday the 13th, that came out May this year, so that's the 2017 game. Experience of the year is kind of tough. Maybe I would say I got a couple answers for that. The biggest one would probably be experiencing the Sega Master System for the first time. That was a good one because that got me hardcore into like console collecting again. But just before that happened, I got a hold of a Famiclone. I didn't talk about that. I didn't do many videos about this, but I got my hands on a Famiclone, and I got a big like a shoebox sized Tupperware filled with loose Famicom carts. That was a really awesome experience that happened this year. Another one was picking up the original Phantasy Star on the Wii Virtual Console. Long story. I know buying ROMs on the Virtual Console is dumb. Long story. I just had the points, so I wanted to get them used up. Okay, so that was a great game. That kind of changed the way I looked at the potential that the 8-bit RPGs had. It was a great game. Great game. Another experience of the year, a game maybe that didn't come out this year, was playing Super Indie Carts split screen on Steam with my son, because that is a game that on its own is a half-baked, Mario Kart clone. But when I threw split screen with my son in the mix, it was the perfect. It hit the mark perfect. So I don't know if I would recommend it without a player 2, but for me that was huge, playing that game and going back to it. I don't know if I have a biggest blunder per se of the year, because the thing about PC gaming is that it's pretty low risk. If you're buying games on sale, if something's a turkey, you just let it go and it's not a big deal. I guess I do have a couple of them though. The biggest blunders I would say would be my orders that went south, right? So I had a couple of orders on AliExpress go south. One game showed up in the mail and just did not work. One game was missing from my order. I was supposed to get Valis 3 and the original Valis on Genesis, and the original Valis was just missing, and I didn't realize it for several days. So that's like $3.80, $4, something like that down the tube. And I was really sour about that. Also, the discovery that those repros for the Genesis don't hold saves. So I have a copy of Phantasy Star 4 that you can't play it because you can't save. There's no point. Those were as much fun as I had with my repros. Those were kind of a bitter pill to swallow. I guess as they say, you get what you pay for. But in terms of just games that were straight up bad, I don't buy too many new games. I have a couple, more this year probably than in recent years. I would have to look at my sales, right? Whenever I buy things on Steam, I put them in a category so that I can tell what sales I got them in. For example, we are currently in the Winter Sale 2017. I can see I got Realms of Arcania games. I got Trackmania 2 Lagoon. I got Raiden 5. And I think the only reason why I didn't mention Raiden 5 in Game of the Year is because I put so little time into it, but I really enjoyed that game as well. I would have to flip through these. Let's see. Let's jump back to Thanksgiving. See if I got any blunders there. 12 games. Oh, yeah, here's one for you. I bought DLC for this game called Teleglitch. Teleglitch is a really ugly top-down shooting, like, I don't like using the term roguelike, but top-down shooting game where everything is randomly generated. And it's really ugly, but it's got a good environment to it, and I do like playing it. It was my pop-in, pop-out, like, quick-play game for a little while. And there is a DLC for it called Guns and Tunes, the Guns and Tunes DLC. And yes, it does add guns. There's new guns added to the game. But there are not tunes added. It's supposed to add extra music. And what it does is it adds like 3 or 4 MP3s loose in the native files that are never referenced in the code of the game. So they're just loose MP3s you can go in and play if you want to. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure there are those like Kevin MacLeod royalty-free MP3s you could just go download yourself. So there you go. That was like 99 cents. And even though it was 99 cents, that might be my biggest blunder of the year. That and games that either didn't get played or games that never showed up. I ordered Tekken 4 and that just never showed up. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I guess I might not even get that game now. I have to go back to YouTube and follow up on my complaint. So that's my answer. I hope it was complete enough for you. Thank you for the audio comment. Those are always a treat, I think, because they come so seldom. So what I'm going to do is head over to YouTube. This is the safest and soundest way to leave any kind of comment. And I'm going to see if there was anything left on the last episode. Christmas edition, episode 215. I got a couple. Death Adder writes, fallen behind in my TCR viewership because I'm genuinely a bad person. Awesome to hear you're playing the Friday the 13th. I'm pretty pumped for Uber Jason coming out. Jason as the Terminator machine is so cheesy that it just works. I think there's even a spaceship map coming out, which should be interesting. Who is your favorite counselor in the Jason game? I feel like I have the best luck with Deborah Kim and Part 9 Jason. I hope you and your fam have a great Christmas, bro. Awesome. Hashtag milk run. So let's talk about, I don't want to dig too deep into this, Death Adder, because this is something that only you and only I have interest in. But when I pick my counselor, I tend to look at the choices of the other counselors in the lobby. And I don't know all their names, but there's the bruiser types, there's the stealth types, and there's the fix-it types. If there's a lot of bruisers, like that Bugsy guy or the guy with the long hair and the black leather jacket, those are the guys that hit hard. If there's a bunch of those guys, I'll pick a fix-it lady, right? The lady with the glasses. I don't know. She's pretty good, but she dies a lot. A lot of the times, I played her probably like 10 games straight, and I just couldn't get any traction. So if nobody is talking, I'll usually pick Bugsy. I think I had the most luck playing Bugsy. But yeah, and as for the Jason, I still go with the default, which I think is Part 3. I tried Jason Part 2 when it unlocked, and I didn't like it. So I'm still sticking with Part 3, because that's the one on the PC. It's the only one where you can change the tint and make him bright purple, and it plays the Nintendo music. So it's supposed to be like the NES Jason. It's dope. If you want to dump an extra $20, you can come join us on the PC. And by us, I mean me. All right, let's see. So Dumaze writes, "Did you hear about divorced Barbie? She comes with half of Ken's stuff." Whap, 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 wow. And Dumaze writes, "You sure are a cheeky monkey the way you pronounce my mistyping slip-ups." Yeah, I'm just messing with you, dude. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. I don't need any more commenters mad at me for the way I read their comments. I don't want to go down that road again. All in good fun, my man. Good to hear from you as well. I'm clicking back to the next round right now to see if I think 215 didn't get posted on the next round. I think I ran out of time. I think that might happen this week as well. I think I got it. Okay, so on 214, 2 episodes ago, there was a comment directly on the next round from Alex Swingle. So my man Alex, we're going to go over this, and my apologies if we read it already. TCR 214, number 1. I came from the far future to inform the past that Death Adder was right. Quantum Break is a turd wrapped in a turd-flavored pita bread. But don't worry. You, knowing this, will in no way affect the timeline because the story is perfect and cannot be debated. In other words, we got a lot of dummies on this planet. Number 2. What is best in life? Cheesy taco flavoring or Fiesta chicken? It's that's a tough one. Let's throw the brakes on right here. You start talking about food, that's when I really start scratching my head. I gotta say Fiesta Chicken on this, but it really depends on the context. You know, I think there's certain things like if you flavoring in eggs, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Fiesta Chicken, and I'm gonna move right on. All right, number 3. You ever get that feeling that kids need more sleep, but modern gadgets emit so much noise that they can't calm down and rest? I had to do that today. Number 4. Look what happens when I don't get triggered by your opinions over the course of 4 recordings. I'm forced to resort to trivial banter. Look what you've done. Number 5. I played Duke Nukem Forever over the course of this week, and it's not nearly as bad as the fanboys said it was. It's not a classic Duke 3D, that's true. However, as a hater of finding red keys, I greatly appreciate dealing with heavy scripted events. Your thoughts? P.S. Kaiser is finally doing a Duke Nukem night with Forever. Multiplayer ping is way better than 3D after testing a few matches with him. And we got TCR 213 number 1. He says, I lolled at the great project that is figuring out how passwords are generated. And you sure you went to school and read books? All right, you mutton heads. All right. Let's talk about Duke Nukem for a minute. There are things I don't like about that game that have nothing to do with the game, which I know is the dumbest reason to not like something. It's Gearbox. Gearbox bought the intellectual property, and they finished this game and released it. So Gearbox is the reason we have Duke Nukem Forever. We finally did see it. But here's the thing. Once they got a hold of it, they pulled all the other Duke Nukem games from distribution. Duke Nukem 3D at the time was available in a couple ways. We had the version that we had been playing in past Winter Bashes. I want to say Total Meltdown, but I don't think that's it. The version of Duke Nukem on Steam. There was two versions of Duke Nukem. There was I'm gonna look it up now. Forget it. Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition. That's it. Jeez Louise. Which was like the HD remake. There was also a standardized Duke Nukem 3D on Steam that was released as part of the Apogee update pack. There was a pinball game called Balls of Steel. There were several side-scrolling games. There's a lot of games with Duke Nukem in them. And Gearbox pulled every single one of those games. They're all gone. So I'm kind of upset with the way they dealt with that. That doesn't say good or bad, yay or nay, about the game Duke Nukem Forever. I played it a little bit, and when I say a little bit, I really mean a little bit. I have 62 minutes into it. The only reason I put that little amount of time was because I realized the computer I was running it on at that time couldn't really handle it. There was a lot of input lag and integrated graphics chipset on a laptop. It wasn't really a gaming laptop. I was just kind of pushing my hardware. Loaded up the game, dropped the settings down to the bare minimum so that it would at least run and I could kind of see what was there. Now, what I saw of it seemed really cool. And the people I talked to who actually played the game, I remember Jerry Terrifying saying the same thing. He's like, it's a pretty cool game. I think my only complaint about Duke Nukem Forever was that they made the mistake of scrapping the game every time new technologies came out. Instead of just putting out what they had and making a new one. Like, this should be Duke Nukem Forever Part 5 or something, from what I understand. But my understanding of that is rudimentary. I just think that things could have been done to prevent the development hell that this game got locked in for so many years. Be that as it may, I am wide open to loading this game onto my my fully functional gaming rig and giving it a solid shot. So thanks for that, Alex Swingle. Now let's go to I don't really have anything to say about Quantum Break. I think you and I talked about that off the air a little bit, but it was basically just joking about the way the timeline is handled. And the thing about not being triggered over so many recordings, man, I have to rattle your cage a little bit then, so I can get those comments. I can get those mean comments. All right. You ready? I think, I don't know. I think I should have thought about that off the air. I'll tell you what, Swingle. I don't know if this is really going to happen because I'm going to forget, but I think Let's Troll Swingle would be a great segment. Just a bullet bullet point list of opinions I have that I know are going to make you upset. I would love to do that, but I have to take some time to really think about it. Talisman's a good game. I don't really think that, though. I think Talisman's an alright game. I like playing Talisman with my friends. That's something that Swingle and I were talking about. I'm sure I've said this on the air, too. If you have a game and you say, this is fun with friends, that doesn't mean it's fun, because anything is fun with friends. So, I don't know. All right, my man. I'm rambling now. I'm tired. I've got no time. I don't have any time to do anything. So, this is going to have to be... I'm going to dump this out on YouTube, and I'm going to have to update the rest of my accounts just in retrospect. So, those of you out there who are listening to this, who follow the show, please bear with me. I promise I'm going to get things back on track once MagFest has come and gone, because MagFest marks the true opening of the new year for me, and also the ending of the holiday season. So that's when I will return to my regularly scheduled functions, and then I can go crazy trying to figure out how I'm going to finish the Vancast. So now, whatever has brought you 1 hour and 11 minutes and 10 seconds here into Tiger Claw Radio, I just want to say, just keep hanging in there, man. When you wake up tomorrow, get out of bed. Don't stay in bed. Keep doing what you got to do, because I'm rooting for you, because that's the only way we're going to make the next day come. It's the only way we're going to make things better, is by continuing to do what we have to do, and whatever that may be. God bless. I'll see you next Monday.